Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Skits Tut. And today we're going to be designing a pause menu so you can actually pause your game, and you will have the options on the screen right here to continue or to quit. And if you notice, the player's health and life bars will bleed over. So I came up with a solution so that this will not be an issue during runtime, and it's a pretty easy solution. So anyway, in order to make this, I basically created a continue button and a quit button, and I used the pause text. And if you don't know how to do this, then you might want to check out my tutorial where I showed you how to make a main menu. We're using pretty much the same concepts, but I'll go over it a little bit. So I basically just created a new canvas by going to the create, the UI, and created a canvas, and I named it pause menu canvas. It comes with an event system, but I just went ahead and made it a child object. This is what it's going to control your button functionality. So if you accidentally ever delete this, then you just want to right click on the canvas, create a UI, and then you want to do the event system, because you definitely need that for buttons, but you don't if you're not clicking on anything. So once again, I had right clicked and I went to UI and I created a panel. I renamed it to pause panel, and I created this is actually an image. I just called it pause text because that's the pause text that you're seeing there, but it's actually a UI image. And I had actually set the anchors properly. If you notice, all the anchors showing up around the buttons. And I created one button, named it continue button, and I had set all the functionality to it, such as the highlighted color and what color it turns when it's pressed. Also, whenever you drag the image in, you want to set the native size, and once that's complete, then you just duplicate the button. That way it has the same, everything's already set up, and you just drag your new image, which for me would be the quit button, and I just drug it on there, and then I pulled it over and I set the anchors up exactly where I wanted it. Now for as far as the script, I just created a folder for the pause menu and the pause game, because as you can see, the deeper you get in the game, organization becomes more of a thing, a necessity in my opinion. But anyway, I put the pause game on the pause menu canvas, and as you can see, there's just three public variables, which is the health and the life canvas, and of course the pause panel itself. And we're going to use these to make them turn invisible when we don't want to see them, and we'll make them visible when we do. So before I get into that code, if you've been following the tutorial series, I did remember that I left something out on the enemy spawn. When it's time to level up, we do want to store this and save the health points as current health and the current life. And that way when we go to the next scene, we won't have full bars, we'll have whatever we had at the end of the first level. So anyway, it's just lines 78 and 79. That's the only thing you'd have to add. Now back to the pause game. These are the publics that you've seen in the inspector, the variables you've seen in there. I created a public bool for is paused, and that way we know whether or not it's paused or not. It's going to start off as false because it's not going to start paused, obviously, and we want to set that pause panel active to false. Now because we do this, and you see if you're trying to design a game, this could be pretty annoying. So if you go to the pause panel and you just set its active to false, and then you don't have to worry about looking at it while you're game designing. And I set it up to where it's okay, it will still appear whenever you need it to. So in the update, I created a function called check for pause, which is actually just check pause, and it's going to check every frame. And this is where we're going to find out whether or not the game is paused. If it's true, we're going to pause the game. Otherwise, we're going to unpause it. So when we check for pause, we're really just checking for the escape key. If you push the escape key, then we're going to find out if is paused was false, then we're going to turn it to true, and otherwise we're going to turn it back false. So is pause normally starts off as false, so when you first hit the key, it's going to read this and turn it to true, and the next time it's not going to be false, it'll be true, so it's going to read this and it'll turn it back to false. The actual pause, we're going to set the time scale of the game to 0, and this should freeze everything in it and nothing else should move. We're going to set the health and the life canvas and the pause panel. Well, we want the health and the life to not be visible over the panel, so we're going to go ahead and turn those off, and then we'll turn the panel on, and that's the pause thing that you see. To unpause it is pretty much the opposite of that. We're going to put the timescale back to 1 so things can move again, and then we want to be able to see the player's health and life bar, but we do not want to see the pause panel. The continue button is simple. Since we can only see the continue button when the game is paused, when you push it, it will set it to false, and when you set it to false, it's automatically going to unpause the game here because it has to be true for pause to work, and it goes to unpause from there. Our quit button is a little bit more complex than the typical just abort. We also want to make sure, because if you freeze the time scale, even though you leave the scene, the time scale will still be frozen, so we want to make sure that we reset that, and we want to make sure that when we start the game over that the panels will show up. Not the panels, excuse me, the health and life canvas, we want those back true. Kind of a fail safe here. And then we want to reset the player's health and life, so when the player starts over, he'll start with a full bar. And after that occurs, we're just going to go to the main menu, and that's it. That is literally all there is to a pause panel. And inside of the pause panel, you can, if you want, add options menus and stuff, and you can control volume and sound. And I'll probably do that in a later tutorial after I wrap this game up, which is the top down, and then I'm going to finish the side scroller that I started on originally, and then that'll end my first series of tutorials. And in the second season, we'll get into more advanced stuff, and basically I just want to make sure that everybody knows how to code and gets a little taste of it. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Tune in next time to where we will actually be getting into designing the rest of the levels up to the boss level. We're going to do it quick. I'll show you a nice easy way. And when we get to the boss, we're going to design a boss he's going to get angrier as he gets lower of health, and maybe we'll do a transform or something where he becomes meaner looking. You know, we'll find something cool to do, and it'll give you a different look. So anyway, stay tuned, keep watching them videos, click that like button. See you next time.